Okay, today we're going to use Google search engine to search for credit cards. This is actually be the first time I've ever used Google to search for credit cards. Normally I would do a search for some other site and just choose some random site and go to that to review their credit cards. This is the first page that popped up when I typed in the web address. And I can see here immediately the first thing that catches my attention is on the left hand side here. It looks like we have a number of preferences that we can filter the search by, and so I have a set of criteria I always use when I'm looking for a credit card, and the first thing on my list is always no annual fee. I do not pay annual fees for credit cards, so I'm going to click on that and see what option that gives us. And I'm going to choose no annual fee at all. And that has limited our search, I see here, down to 62 cards. Second criteria I always look for is lower interest. So I'm going to click on that and see what option that gives us. Okay. Doesn't look like it narrowed it down. It's still 62 cards, and it didn't give me any options when I clicked on it. Not that there would be. Third option for me, priority, is rewards. I'm always looking to get the most rewards on a credit card, and they have to have a good rewards program. These days there's so many credit cards are competitive enough that that's something that every card I have now needs to have. And I'm going to click on that and see here I'm getting options of cashback, air miles, or points. I could probably click all of them, but the only thing that's really important to me is cashback. So I'm going to click on that, and I see that's narrowed my results here significantly because now I'm down to 19 cards. I'm going to click over here to bonuses and see what that's all about. Okay, I can see here that I'm going to go ahead and click on every purchase. I don't like having to constantly enroll for bonus, program categories. So I don't like when just gas is featured or just groceries or restaurants. I like to get cash back on every purchase, so I'll choose that. And looks like my results stayed the same. Card type, let's see what that is. All my options here look pretty grayed out. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe none of these major credit cards are an option, so I'm just not going to click on those. Excellent credit, I'll leave that at that because I do have excellent credit. Personal credit cards, I don't know what that's all about. Oh, I see here, yes, I'm just looking for a personal credit card. Okay, so we've pretty much explored all the options that were available over here on the left hand side. So now I'm going to get in here and kind of look at what it gave me. Right off the bat, I am noticing that these are cards I've never really heard of. And I browse these credit card websites pretty often. I'm recognizing some names like Visa, but they're Visa cards I don't recognize. So I'm kind of a little put off by that. I'm recognizing Capital One, but I'm also noticing that their interest rate seems pretty high, and these results were supposed to be for lower interest rate credit cards, so that's a little interesting. Let's go ahead and click on that and just see. It looks here like I'm just noticing now that even though I chose these filters, that didn't necessarily guarantee that these cards on my results list here hit all of these preferences. I'm noticing now that this one, for example, gives me the rewards in the annual fee situation I'm looking for, but not the other two things. So that makes sense as to why that interest rate is so high. So that's interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and browse through here and maybe just click on something that hits the most points, and it looks like it is kind of prioritized those for me. these two here hit all of my points, and they seem to be towards the top of the list. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Union Bank American Express card and see what information it gives me about that. Okay, I can see here immediately that there's a little button that says Apply Now, which I'll check that out. I'm imagining that's probably going to take me to the company's website, and then I would be able to apply from there. Little link here for the terms and conditions. That's helpful. And then here's all the primary features about the card. I see here it's 0% APR for the first year. The APR is anywhere from 14 to 20. That's normal. It looks good. Something else that I like to look for is like a fourth preference of mine, but it's towards the bottom of my priority list, is good introductory offers, good introductory rates, and this one has that. Let's see what else we have here. Eligibility, which I'm not too interested in. Here it is reiterating the purchase APR. I don't know why it has it on here twice. It has it up here, and then it has it down here. That's kind of redundant. I'd rather have something else in that box, some further information. Balance transfers. Let's see, 3% with a minimum of $10 is the fee for balance transfers. That's pretty normal. Over here is what I'm most interested in, which is the cashback rewards situation. It looks like all purchases are 1%. That's okay. Gas is 2%. That's not real good, in my opinion. And a $50 cashback bonus when you spend $500 in the first 6 months. So that's good to know. There's an extra bonus there. Penalties, any insurance options, but it just says information not available. It would be nice if that information was provided. Otherwise, I don't even really know why it's on here. Any other account fees? Annual fee is 0, which is what I requested. Again, it's kind of redundant. It's got requirements down here when it already has eligibility up here, so I'm not really sure why it would need to have it twice. Again, I'd rather some other sort of information be there. One thing that would be nice that I'm not seeing on here is there's no customer reviews. I always like when customer reviews are included. It helps. So you know what other people's experiences have been as far as customer service, and you know if they've had any issues, how helpful was the company in resolving the issues, and things like that. And people that are actually using the programs on the credit cards, do they actually work the way that you expect them to work? And I kind of wish that that was on here, and I don't see that. I'm going to go ahead and click back to results. So far, my impression of this is that it's a very basic, really ultra simple credit card search engine. There's no, like I said, no customer reviews. There's also no expert reviews. I like when they have the experts come on and maybe write, the financial experts, and maybe write like a brief paragraph that just highlights what the pros and the cons are of the card. That helps a lot, helps you get advice on which way to go, because sometimes there's just a lot of cards to choose from. One thing I find interesting, and I think I mentioned it before, was just that I haven't heard of a lot of these cards, and there don't seem to be a lot of options, which is really disappointing. To be honest, I probably wouldn't choose this search engine to look for credit cards just because of that reason. I'm imagining that the cards that are featured here are probably just sponsored cards. And if I click on this why these cards up here, that's probably going to tell me why the selection is limited. It says, why are these cards shown? Cards are sorted by the card's features and popularity with the consumers, as well as your preferences. Cards are filtered according to your preferences and search criteria. So, not actually showing only cards that are sponsors of the search engine. So, let's go ahead and go back then and maybe remove some of my search criteria. For example, let's click on rewards bonuses here. Let's just click that off, and that only increases the amount of our results by a few. So that didn't really do it. Let's click on rewards here. Let's take off cash back and then see what we have here. And that increased it up to 62 cards. So that's a lot more. However, okay, here we go. I was wondering where all the cards were. And I can see here they're coming up as I scroll down here. So I'm just going to peruse this result list really quick here. And this is, I'm seeing actually Discover Motiva. That is a card I've heard of that I don't have much information on. Looks like the interest rate isn't, it isn't checked off for being a lower interest rate credit card, but looking over here, the interest rate doesn't look that bad. So I'm going to click on this. Discover is a name I'm familiar with and have had some experience with in the past. So I'd feel more comfortable maybe looking more into this card. And again, there's a 0% APR, and that's a little longer than the last one, 14 months. The interest rate falls within a range I'm semi-comfortable with. I'd be comfortable with maybe something in the middle, but it is 0% APR for 14 months, so at least that's good. This does include the insurance options with the credit card, and I like that. There's no annual fee, of course. Late payment fee $35, but it doesn't apply to me because I don't make late payments, so I'm never really concerned with that amount. So it gave me the basics here. Let's click on terms and conditions because I'm just curious as to what this looks like. Taking a little while to load here. And instead of taking me to terms and conditions, I'm just seeing an application page. Here's some down here. Maybe that's kind of what it's directing me to. But somebody else might get a little confused by that and just think it didn't take them to the right page and just immediately click out of it. So let's go ahead and close out of that tab. I think off the top of my head, without searching some of the other cards on the list, I would probably tend to choose this one just because it's one of the major credit cards I'm familiar with, and I wasn't really familiar with most of the other ones I was seeing on the list. So at this point I would probably click, apply now. But chances are I'd probably want to continue to search the list some more. But being really, really honest, at this point I would probably click out of this search engine entirely and try to find another site that would give me some more of the information that I'm looking for. This site was just a little too basic for me. And I didn't really feel like it gave me some of the major points about the credit card, but I don't know that that's enough for me as a consumer to, go ahead and then say, okay, this is enough information for me to want to apply for the credit card.